Hello and welcome to the topic Indian Education Commission. India, with 1 billion of residents, has the second largest education system in the whole world. But in a country with such a large population, the increased demand for education is not currently met. In a science-based world, education and research are crucial to the entire developmental process of a country, its welfare, progress and security. Historically, Indian education system was those of the elite classes. Traditional Hindu education was tailored to the needs of the Brahmin boys. Under the British rule, Indian education policies changed gradually. It was only by the early 20th century that other castes realized the importance and advantages of education as a passport to political power and managed to acquire formal learning. With India's independence in 1947, a Department of Education was established within the Ministry of Human Resource Development. At this time, India lacked a national network of universities and affiliated colleges that could provide outreach to a country with vast diversities. India's current system of education of that time offered relatively limited access to higher education. It was felt that quality of higher education had declined in an effort to serve the wide variety of students in the country. Curriculum content was also criticized as outdated with much reliance on bookish teaching methods. Education appeared to be one of the areas which indicated many problems that needed the efforts for immediate solutions. In response to the above problems, many commissions were appointed to suggest solutions for reconstruction of education system urgently. The Indian government felt that educational and national reconstruction is intimately interlinked. To improve the educational setup, the Indian government constituted commissions like the Indian Education Commission of 1882, the University Commission of 1902, Michael Salder's Calcutta University Commission of 1917, University Education Commission of 1948, Secondary Education Commission of 1952, etc. The recommendations of these commissions could not be succeeded in its full implementations. In order to remove these defects, the Government of India had to appoint a new Education Commission, Indian Education Commission of 1964, to advise the government on national pattern of education along with general principles and policies for the development of education at all stages. The commission set up 12 task forces and 7 working groups. They made detailed study of many specific problems. The 12 tasks were on the following: school education, higher education, technical education, agricultural education, science education and research, teacher training and teacher status, student welfare, new techniques and methods, manpower, educational administration and educational finance. The 7 working groups set up by the commission were women's education, education of backward classes, school buildings, school community relations, statistics, pre-primary education and school curriculum. The programs of educational reconstruction proposed in the report of the commission fall into 3 broad categories: internal transformation of the educational system so as to relate it to the life needs and aspirations of the nation; qualitative improvement of education so that the standards achieved are adequate, keep continually rising and at least in a few sectors become internationally comparable; expansion of educational facilities broadly on the basis of manpower needs and with an accent on equalization of educational opportunities. The report of the commission provided some basic thinking and framework for taking at least the first step towards bringing about what may be called an educational revolution in the country. Education Commission 1964-66. Education Commission of 1964-66 was the 6th commission in the history of commissions in India. The commission is popularly known as the Kothari Commission, since the commission was under the presidency of Dr. D. S. Kothari, the then chairman of University Grants Commission. It was appointed by the Government of India on 14th July 1964 to advise on national pattern of education and general principles and policies of development of education at all stages and in all aspects. The Commission was appointed to review the educational achievement of the country in the past 20 years. J. P. Naik, a well-known educationalist, was the secretary of the Commission. J. F. McDougall was the associate secretary. The Commission consisted of 17 members who were representatives from all progressive areas and looked forward to survey all the aspects of education, primary, secondary, university and technical. It was to make recommendations which would help to improve the education system of the country at all its levels. Among the members of the Commission, 5 educationists were from England, America, France, Japan and Russia. Mr. M. C. Chagla, the then Education Minister of India, in the inaugural address of the Commission mentioned about the appointment of the Commission. In his speech, he talked about 2 broad approaches to education prevalent in the world. The first approach held that every individual was unique and he must be given the full freedom to develop the best that was possible by him. If this approach was followed, the national system of education will take care of them. The second approach was one which laid emphasis on the society in which the individual lived. Here, if education helped to create a new social order, the good of each individual would be automatically looked after. India, according to Mr. Chagla, would have to choose a path between these 2 approaches to education. The main principle of the working of Kothari Commission was to extend education at all levels along with the growth of educational quality. Thus, rise in quality and quantity of education was the target of the Commission. The Commission started its work on 2nd October 1964. About 9,000 people were interviewed, including general public, educators, scholars, industrialists, scientists and all those who were interested in the development of education. The Commission spent 100 days and more in visiting various universities, colleges and schools. In all possible ways, the teachers, administrators of these institutions and the students were called in for discussions. It received and scrutinized 2,400 memorandums and notes. The Commission worked for 21 months and submitted its report in June 1966. The summary of the recommendations of the Commission was named as Education and National Development. The report was divided into 4 sections. The first section dealt with general problems of education. These include reorientation of the education system to national objectives, structural reorganization and improvement of teachers, enrollment policies and equalization of educational opportunity. The second section of the report dealt with education at different stages and in different sectors. These include aspects like problem of expansion, curriculum, teaching methods, textbooks, guidance, evaluation, administration, supervision, etc. The third section dealt with implementation of various recommendations and programs suggested by the Commission. It covers educational planning and administration and educational finance. The last part of the report consisted of the supplementary papers. Unique features of the Indian Education Commission. In comparison with the earlier commissions, the Indian Education Commission was unique for various reasons. All the 5 commissions appointed earlier focused its attention on specific sectors or aspects or levels of education. None of the earlier commissions dealt with education as a whole as this one did. The Kothari Commission had considered education as the most powerful instrument of national development. This was evident in all the pages of its report. None of the other commission had conceived education as a pivot of national honor and pivot of nation's progress. The earlier commissions had appointed its members from within the country itself. The internal composition of the Indian Education Commission is significant and unique. Since education remained a common quest of mankind, it was considered necessary to draw the thinking of educationalists and scientists from other countries too. Such an idea was put forward to take advantages of the latest developments in the educationally advanced countries. Thus, the Commission included 5 members from other countries like Japan, France, United Kingdom, United States of America and Russia. Besides, 20 consultants from different countries of the world were also included in the Commission. Recommendations of the Kothari Commission. In order to relate education to life, needs and aspirations of the people, the Commission recommended the following objectives. Increase in productivity. In order to increase national income in a country like India, education should be related to productivity. According to the Commission, the link between education and productivity can be forged through the development of the following programs. Making science a basic component of education and culture. The traditional society uses empirical process and trial and error methods for production purpose, whereas science based technology, according to the Commission, helps in modernization of agriculture and development of industries. Hence, science should be made an integral part of school education. The quality of science teaching should also be raised considerably to achieve its proper objectives, such as develop problem solving skills, analytical skills and their easy application to the problems of the material environment and social living. Making work experience an integral part of general education. The Commission recommended the introduction of work experience as an integral part of all education, whether general or vocational. A purposeful education should include study of languages, the humanities and social sciences, study of mathematics, work experience and social service. According to the Commission, the present education system takes most of its time in the study of languages, humanities and social sciences. Work experience is a method of integrating education with work. The complex techniques of production adapted in modern societies require higher forms of general or technical education and a comparatively higher level of intellectual ability. So, work experience is essential in modern societies which adopt science based technology. Vocationalization of education in the secondary school level. Another program which can bring education into closer relationship with productivity is vocationalization. In 1882, the Indian Education Commission recommended the introduction of practical subjects in secondary education, but little or no effective action was taken to implement the recommendations. Even at the university level, vocationalization was ignored. The Commission decided to increase the emphasis on agricultural and technological education at the university stage. According to them, the institutions of such education should be large in size to be economical and efficient and should be located close to the industries concerned. Improvement of scientific and technological education and research at the university level with special emphasis on agriculture and allied sciences. For proper development of the national economy, there should be a large scale expansion of enrollment of students in engineering, agriculture and pure science subjects. For this to happen, the quality of research and education should be improved considerably. Promoting social and national integration. To develop strong unity in a country like India, it is crucial to create social and national integration among its citizens. This could be done through the following: introduction of common school system of public education. In a country like India, it is important to bring all the different classes and groups together through a common school system. It thus helps in emergence of egalitarian and integrated society. In the view of the Commission, there was great segregation in the then system of education. This was because the children of economically privileged parents were able to buy good education, whereas the other backward masses were compelled to receive substandard education. If these evils were to be eliminated and the educational system was to become a powerful instrument of national development, the common school system was the only way out. Making social and national service as integral part of school education. Some form of social and national service should be made obligatory for all students and should form an integral part of education at all stages. This would help improve discipline, build character and develop a sense of social responsibility. Develop all Indian languages and taking necessary steps to enrich Hindi as quickly as possible, so that it would be considered as the official language of the Union. Promoting national consciousness. India is a land of diversities of different castes, peoples, communities, languages, religions and cultures. Unfortunately, our school system as a whole has had no strong tradition of striving to develop a sense of national unity and national consciousness. The deepening of national consciousness can be fostered specially by two programs: the understanding and re-evaluation of our cultural heritage, which can be done through the teaching of languages and literature, philosophy, religions and history of India, etc. The creation of a strong driving faith in the future towards which we aspire. Develop democratic values. The population of India consists of people with different religions, different languages, different races, castes, classes and communities. So, it is important from the part of the government to give special emphasis on the development of values such as scientific temper of mind, tolerance, respect for the culture of other national groups, etc., which will enable the people to adopt democracy. The development of democratic values can convert the differences of language, cultural pattern, religion, etc., in the country according to the view of the Commission. Education and modernization. A science based technology has important implications for social and cultural life, and it involves fundamental social and cultural changes which are broadly described as modernization. Explosion of knowledge. In a traditional society, the stock of knowledge is limited and grows slowly, but in a modern society, the stock of knowledge is far greater and the pace of its growth is infinitely quicker. One of the main tasks of education in a country like India is to keep pace with this advance in knowledge. This is possible through adoption of a new approach to the objectives and methods of education and changes in the training of teachers. The Commission suggested that unless the teachers are trained in new ways of teaching and learning, the students in schools and colleges would not be able to receive the type of education needed for a new society. Rapid social change. Another feature of a modern society is the quick and almost breathtaking rate at which social change takes place. In a traditional society, change is so slow. According to the Commission, an educational system which does not continually renovate itself becomes out of date and hampers progress. Modernization and educational progress. The progress of modernization is directly related to the pace of educational advancement. Modernizing quickly means to spread education quickly and produce educated and skilled citizens. The proportion of people who have so far been able to receive secondary and higher education was very small in the country. This was to be immediately increased to at least 10% to make any significant impact. In order to change this situation radically, it would be necessary to establish a few major universities in the country. The standard of these universities should be comparable to the best in any part of the world. This was one of the basic reforms needed in the system of education according to the Commission. Developing social, moral and spiritual values. A major weakness of the Indian, particularly of the Hindu society in the past, has been lack of equality and social justice. The country will have to inculcate necessary moral and spiritual values and self-discipline among its citizens. Strengthening and deepening of the sense of social responsibility is also equally important to give a proper value orientation to the educational system. Special attention has to be given to inculcate right values in the students at all stages of education. The central and state governments should adopt measures to introduce education in moral, social and spiritual values. The privately managed institutions should also be expected to follow the same. The subjects related to moral, social and spiritual values should be taken not by specially recruited teachers, but by general teachers, preferably from different communities. The teachers for this purpose should be trained properly. In the attempt to inculcate values through education, we should draw freely upon our traditions as well as the traditions of other countries and cultures. The educational system, structure and standards. According to the Commission, the standards in any given system of education at a given time depend upon 4 elements: the structure or the division of the educational pyramid into different levels or stages and their interrelations, the duration or total period covered by the different stages, the extent and quality of essential inputs such as teachers, curriculum, methods of teaching and evaluation, equipment and buildings, utilization of available facilities. The Commission recommended for new educational structure which should consist of 1 to 3 years of preschool education, a 10-year period of general education which may be subdivided into a primary stage of 7 to 8 years and lower secondary stage of 2 to 3 years of general education or 1 to 3 years of vocational education, a higher secondary stage of 2 years of general education or 1 to 3 years of vocational education, degree course of 3 years, the graduate course extended from 2 to 3 years. Of all the different factors which influence the quality of education, the quality, competence and character of teachers are undoubtedly the most significant, says the Commission. For this purpose, it was necessary to make an intensive and continuous effort to raise the economic, social and professional status of teachers. The provision of adequate remuneration, opportunities for professional advancement and favorable conditions of service and work should be carried out for this purpose. The scale of payment should be the same for teachers of governmental and non-governmental schools. Let us summarize what we have learned so far. The Kothari Commission believed that great enterprise of national reconstruction will entirely depend on the quality and number of students coming out of each school. The Commission felt that quality of education and its contribution to national development of the country will depend on many things. For this, Dr. Kothari tried to emphasize the value, that is democracy, socialism and equality of all religion. The Commission stressed on balanced development of human values that would come from skills, morality and religion through enhancement of science and technology. Thus, the Commission was of the view that science based education was the need of the country in cohesion with Indian culture and democratic values. The Kothari Commission gave importance to moral and spiritual values in order to provide civilized and cultured citizens. To educate the upcoming citizens of India in such a direction, the Commission felt the implementation of proper curriculum and proper atmosphere as necessary part of education. The Commission found that the teacher education system in the country was very weak to produce competent teachers. Hence, the Commission felt the importance of proper teachers training and implementation of social programs for them for better education system in the country. Here are a few questions, hope that you will try to answer them. How was the Indian Education Commission of 1964 appointed? How was the Kothari Commission different from the earlier commissions on education? Which were the 12 tasks and 7 working groups set up by the Kothari Commission? What were the objectives of Kothari Commission? What were the various recommendations of the Commission for improvement of education system in the country? For reference, you can go through the books listed here. Value Oriented Education, Vision for Better Living, written by E. N. Gawande, published by Saroop and Sons, New Delhi, in the year 2002. Vocational Education, written by Tarun Rashtriya, published by APH Publishing Corporation, New Delhi in the year 2008. History of Education in India, written by Ramnath Sharma and Rajendra Kumar Sharma, published by Atlantic Publishers and Distributors, New Delhi in the year 2004. Education Planning in India, Reports of Committees and Commissions, written by J.C. Agarwal and S.P. Agarwal, published by Concept Publishing Company in the year 1992. Issues in Indian Education, written by M.L. Dhawan, published by Gyan Publishing House, New Delhi in the year 1998. Thank you for watching this program. We can meet again with another topic. Have a nice day.